Right, a bit earlier than expected. Hey, 2 minutes earlier. It's fine. It's fine. Not a problem. That I'm just that little bit too early. Um, I I watched Luton Town 2, Reading 3, and quite frankly, I'm at a loss for words for how that game was. There's a lot to unpack. I was talking to Stevie just before going live, and to be honest, quite frankly, we agree. We're very flat. We're very flat about it. It's probably the end of the season. Ultimately, when you look at it, the three games we needed to win to keep this game alive: Wigan, Burton, Port Vale. Those are the three games we needed to win to stay alive in this playoff battle. And this was also a 6-pointer against a team that were above us, a team that they weren't anything special. They certainly weren't anything special until Matt Ritchie came on. Although we gave a big helping hand for this capitulation. And right off the bat, big shout out to Dad Chris and his little girl Aria. Aria's first game was today, which was pretty cool. Chris, well done on taking her, and I hope the result didn't put her off going to more games. I remember my first. I don't remember my exact first game. I remember when I first started going to Luton, and my earliest memory of going to a Luton game was getting relegated from what is now the Championship, so the second tier. So this was in the 95-96 season. And it didn't put me off. I'm still here 30 years later, living the dream. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Also, a big shout out to Karen and Seth. Thank you very much for the kind words. Keep watching. Right. So, this game has really, I don't want to say split people, because a lot of people are very, very angry about the mistakes that happen in the game, the style of play. What I don't understand, I'm jumping right to the end, and then I'll go back. It's like a storyteller's device. I'll go to the end, and then I'll circle back. End of the game, people clapping. There are a lot of claps today, and obviously that has something to do with the pre-match announcements. So Loyal Luton came out, and they I'll read the statement that Loyal Luton put out on the old WhatsApp group. They had a meeting on Thursday. Some of the Loyal Luton committee met with members of the player leadership group and senior management for a long, honest and frank discussion about where we are, how we move forward. The players were clear about one thing: they know they must step up. They openly acknowledge that recent performances, particularly away from home, have not been good enough, and that the standards expected at Luton Town are far higher. They spoke about the need to improve tactically in organisation on the pitch and in standards within the squad. Most importantly, they made it clear that they are determined to improve, determined to raise their levels, and determined to fight for this club. Well, the season's over, isn't it? Well, it especially is now. They also spoke of mistakes being made during games. This is part and parcel of the game. When they are made, get behind the players and encourage them to be better. They know words alone are not enough, and supporters now expect to see that commitment shown on the pitch. They also spoke about Kenilworth Road. Not long ago, it was a fortress where teams hated coming. The players want that atmosphere back. Well, I'll tell you what, we did our part today. And they say, now we have 13 games left, now 12. The playoffs are still possible. No, they're not. And the players believe they can still achieve it. No, they can't. But everyone knows this. Luton Town has never been the easy road. It's always been about sticking together, fighting our way forward. We need to stand together and give ourselves the best chance of getting out of this league. Right. So that was released by Law Luton at 11 o'clock today. And then the club released, there's a long thing in the program. I'm just going to read the excerpt that they put on social media. This was a message from Cal, Naki, Savs, Ali Al-Hamidi. Don't know what he's doing in the leadership group. Honestly, no idea. Ali Al-Hamidi, the guy who's the January signing, who's barely kicked a ball for us. Clicker and Shazy. So, Cal Naismith, Naki Wells, George Saville, Ali Al-Hamidi, Jordan Clark, and James Shea. We all take full responsibility for the performances that haven't been up to standard this season. Every single one of us has at times made mistakes. We can assure you it's not through a lack of effort or desire. We all came to Luton Town because we wanted to be part of the kind of success that everyone has enjoyed in recent years. We all want to be part of the club's history for positive reasons. Not one of us wants to leave Luton Town in League One. Look, these are words. It's like when you go to a job interview and you just say whatever old bollocks you think they want to hear. Providing you can back it up once you get the job, then who gives a shit? Am I right? These are just words. It's words. They mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. So, okay, let's go to the end of the match. People clapping. Don't understand it. People clapping. Weird. What I can't get behind. So I sit above the tunnel, and at the end of the game, there was a guy standing up on the seat next to me, and he was screaming absolute obscenities at the player. At all the players as they were coming off. Everyone. Didn't matter who. Anyway, so I said, Dad, get down. You're embarrassing me. No, I'm kidding. Before anything happens, it was not my dad. I don't know who the guy was. He doesn't sit in the row. But that is just beyond the pale. That is an extreme reaction. I can understand the anger, but that is not right. It's seriously, it's not right to do that. Right, the clapping. I can't get behind the clapping. And people have said, I can understand the clapping from the position that it was a good performance. Well, let's scratch beneath the surface of that good performance. So, the lineup, 7 changes from the team that beat Northampton. I don't know why we had 7 changes. That's absolutely bonkers. And I was talking to Steve Moore, who was actually on co-coms with Simon Pitts today. Like, Steve, I hope you had a good time. I hope you did well. I obviously didn't listen to it because I was at the game. But congrats and keep it up. And we were debating, what is it? Is it a 3 at the back? Is it a 5 at the back? Is it a 4-3-3? I thought it was a 4-3-3, but I said, let's wait and see how we actually line up. So, interestingly, out of possession, I'd say it was a 4-3-3. So, it was Keeley in goal, left back Joe Johnson, right back Izzy Jones, centre-back pairing of Cal Naismith and Nigel Longwick. And then you had Saville sitting, you had Palmer and Clark in front, and then you had a front 3 of Lawrence, Richards, and Devante Cole. However, when we were out of possession, like for instance, when we were preparing for a Reading goal kick, it became a 4-4-2 with Casey Palmer pushing up with Devante Cole to start the press. Okay, scratching the surface. Scratching beneath the surface even. So, it was not as good a performance as people would let you believe. And that is without the mistakes that we made throughout to lead to the goals. Essentially, we only had 2 shots on target. At least we're having shots, though. There were, I'd say, few and far between in terms of shots. There weren't clear-cut chances. And I don't believe we have what it takes in the final third to actually create, to score. And that is a problem. That is the difference between a team that is going to get promoted and a team that is a mid-table nothing, destined to just hover in League One for the foreseeable. That is the way I see it. It's very aesthetically pleasing football. It's very easy on the eye in 2/3 of the pitch. You know, when we're passing it around, knocking it about seamlessly between defence, Nigel Longwick with his lovely man bun flowing in the breeze as he perfectly symmetrically passes the ball to Cal Naismith, and then Cal Naismith, and he shapes up to like send a Hollywood ball somewhere. It all is very aesthetic. You get Jordan Clark, he receives the ball, he chops it, he passes it to Casey Palmer. Casey Palmer runs. So Casey Palmer was excellent today. It all went downhill when Casey Palmer and Emilio Lawrence went off. And that was a stupid in-game decision. You take off your two most prominent players that are actually making the difference here. And we paid the price. We really did. And we go 2-1 ahead. Reading are in the ascendancy. And then what do? We sit back and we try knocking it about like we're 6-0 up. And that is, for me, beyond the pale. Show some respect to the opposition because they can hurt you. And then they have the likes of Matt Ritchie they can bring on. And Matt Ritchie is one that we identified in the midweek catch-up as a very, very dangerous player. And the goal, the goal he assisted both of the goals, the 2-2 and the 3-2, the equalising goal, that was a sensational bit of play. Those are the types of balls into the box, for the third goal, the type of pressing that we lack. We do not have any of that. A lot of what we do looks aesthetically pleasing. It looks like we're putting in the graft. It looks like we're doing stuff, but ultimately it's just words. It's, I'm trying to think of a better way of putting this, a more YouTube-friendly way of putting this. People in the OK Football WhatsApp group will know how I describe this. I'll just say, all huff, no puff. That is what we're doing. We're just sort of rolling a wheel up a hill on a treadmill that is just keeping it in the same place. We're not actually going anywhere. It looks nice on the surface, but when you look beneath the surface, we're not creating chances. We're not scoring goals. Even if you look at our goals today, our first goal was a second phase from a corner. It was a great ball in. You know, we recycled the ball from the corner. Emilio Lawrence bends in a beautiful ball. And then that ball goes in. You know, Longwick with, a good run into the box, slides it in. And then the second one is a goal direct from a corner, which, fair play, it was a tremendous run from Saville, unmarked, bullet, header, tremendous. But then let's look at the first goal from Reading that put us behind. So I'm not going to try and even pronounce this Reading geezer's name. I'm just going to call him Kelvin. Kelvin has scored 6 goals this season. 4 of them have come against Luton Town. This guy's a kid. I think he's 22. And in the midweek catch-up, we're like, oh, thank God. Jack Marriott is injured and he's not going to be playing because Jack Marriott loves a goal against us. He's a very good player. This guy, he was nothing special. It was nothing special, but we made him look like prime Thierry Henry. It was unreal. First goal, a mistake at the back. Izzy Jones tries to head it back to Naismith, and then Kelvin just goes past Naismith. Boom, 1-0. Okay, we come back into it from the 2 goals that I described. Not going to describe them again. And, Kelvin showed the power to get past Naismith, although Naismith, he just doesn't have the strength. He doesn't. He spends more of his time whinging and not being a leader. As I said, it's only words. They'll make mistakes. They'll keep making mistakes because, you can say whatever you want in print. You've got to back it up when you actually cross the dotted line. doing your job. You got to do that stuff. Right. And then the other 2 goals, yes, like when it comes to pointing fingers, I will say Josh Keeley potentially... Look, I said we were knocking about like we were 6-0 up. Frankly, embarrassing. For the older people watching this, you'll probably remember there was a game in the 70s, maybe 72 or 73, maybe 71. Leeds beat Southampton 7-0, I think. And then towards the end, it was just showboating, and it was like Bremner to Lorimer. Lorimer was like, doing behind the leg juggles, and there's stroking the ball about. And that is what we were doing. And frankly, you can't play champagne football when your players ain't got no bubbles. The players are completely devoid of confidence. You just gotta, I've said it so many times, horses for courses. If you're hanging on to a 2-1 lead against a team above you, essentially just start hacking it away. As soon as the ball comes in, get it up to their half. They can't score from their half. Well, they can actually. What was that game where the opposite, Huddersfield scored from their own half? Just keep it conservative. Keep the ball in their half where they can't punish you immediately, or they can rarely punish you. I know we've been punished once from, the opposition's half already this season, but that was a different mistake for another day, because there are plenty of mistakes to go around. Right. So that was the second goal. Just clear it. And then we're just passing it around the back. Ball gets nicked off. Ball gets recirculated. Richie puts in a glorious ball. Kelvin is there. Back stick. Boom. Towering header. Fair play. Like I said to Thierry Henry, it was like prime Didier Drogba today. It was absolutely mad. It kind of reminds me... Oh, sorry. It's very cold in my garage. It kind of reminds me of that Reading game in the season when Nathan Jones came back and we got absolutely smashed 5-0, I think. And Gabe Osho played in that game for Reading. And who was it that scored the 3 goals for Reading? Someone can tell me in the comments. I'm sorry, I've seen so many comments. I will get to them. I'm just getting this all off my chest right now. Someone scored 3 goals for Reading, and he wasn't a great player, but ultimately we made him look like a Ballon d'Or winner. That's what we do. And then third goal, Keeley, Naismith, who knows? Take your pick. It was Jakub Matey. There you go. Thank you, Minibar23. Naismith has no awareness of what's going on around him. He takes a heavy touch. The ball gets nicked off him, and it's so easy. Matt Ritchie takes the ball off him because he's an experienced guy. What is he, like 104? He nicks the ball off Naismith. He knows he's going to mess it up. Just squares it. Kelvin slots in. Easy as you have it. I feel numb to it all. I genuinely feel numb to it all. If anyone from Luton Town is watching, if Jack Wilshere is watching, just start playing the kids, because the kids are gonna bloody try. Get Fox in. Get this kid Gabo in. He scored again today. I think that's like 41 goals in the under-18s. Just get him in. Get him in. Tony Thorpe had a start at 17. John Hartson had a start at 17. Get these kids in. Matthew Spring started young. There are so many parallels to what is going on at the moment with a board that have really taken their eye off the ball, and it's not the same as, say, David Kohler, where David Kohler was just not investing money into the club because it was different times, and ultimately David Kohler didn't have the Premier League windfall that he could squander or waste or spend on players. But now at the end of the season, we're going to be receiving, I think, £30 million in parachute payments. Where is that money going to go? I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty certain it's probably earmarked or ring fenced for Power Court. I would like to see a full accounting of what is going on there. Genuinely. I'm just fed up with this constant non-transparency about what is going on. So £30 million of Premier League parachute money, has it been diverted to Power Court? I don't know, but I'd love to know. It's certainly not being reinvested into the playing staff. But to be honest, even if they did invest it in the playing staff, it would just get squandered, wasted, spaffed away on shit players that we're just going to end up loaning out somewhere or use to pay off contracts for players. We need to get back to our DNA, and ultimately what has been Luton's DNA throughout the years is our youth. And sure, the youth isn't going to be as good as, say, it was in the 90s, because now you got all this EPPP shit and Cat 1, 2, 3 academies. We're a Cat 3 academy. But you know what? There are some players that are absolutely banging form for the under-18s, the under-21s. Use them. Why don't we use them? The season is done, dusted. There is no chance of the playoffs. Might as well introduce them, because we're going to be relying on them next year when we ain't got a pot to piss in. Right. Yeah. And ultimately, this Wembley visit, last thing I'm going to say about this, and now I'm going to get your comments. The Wembley visit, if you've seen that meme of the big water jug with the hole in it, and then a guy comes and slaps a piece of sticky tape on it, that is Wembley on this season. From the interviews that I've put up this week on the channel, from the October Content Creator Day, I'm sorry they were late. We had an editor changeover. Our old editor Kate left, and we got a new guy, a Texo02, who was brilliant. He got them out so quickly. One thing that has always been said from everyone that I spoke to, playoffs are the minimum. Gary himself said that in the interview I did with him. Playoffs are the minimum. Playoffs are the minimum. They said at the end of the championship season, when we were relegated, in that press release, souls have been searched. They're doing an inquiry. Where is the results of that? Nothing has come out about the football operations side. Loyal Luton's meeting with the club was purely on the playing side. There has been nothing about the football operations sides. That can continues to be kicked down the road. And if you're waiting for the trust to get answers for that, you're going to be waiting a bloody long time, because they are never going to ask the questions that need to be asked. There needs to be a full inquiry. There needs to be open books. We need to see where every single penny has gone. And we need to be able to have access to Gary Sweet, other board members, and see what they really think. Because from that interview I did with Gary Sweet, I asked him open questions. He gave me sort of half answers. But you know what? If we did that regularly, we might just about get somewhere, wouldn't we? Right. Yeah, anyway, so getting back to my point, this Wembley visit in this Piss Pot Cup, sure, it's silverware, but it really does slap a band-aid over this leaky water tank of a season. It really does. Right, let's get some comments. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in, so many of you this evening. It's really good. Good evening, everyone. Right, wow, so many comments. Some comments on the games. Right, so Highland Hatter, a complete capitulation. Berry Hatter, that was surrender. What is that shambles at goal kicks meant to achieve? Correct. Playing out the back at this level is fucking stupid. It really is. It really is. I actually remember there was a video on our channel. If you go to the YouTube Shorts page on our channel, and it was when we were doing the pod at the Brickies, and I was talking through Phil and Wedge about a kickoff routine at non-league level, I think. And the keeper played it out to a player, the keeper moved to the left of the goal, and then the left back tried to pass it back to the keeper, ended up spooning it into his own net. At this level, those kickoff routines are stupid, pointless, and they don't get you anywhere, because there's a reason, to quote Chris Powell, you're League One. There is a reason you're in League One, because you're not good enough to play that style of football. You're really not. And we shouldn't be doing that. Jack Wilshere should have had in-game management where he should have changed what we were doing. And in his post-match, he said, oh yeah, well, it wasn't my directive for them to be doing this. Players and leaders on the pitch, like George Saville, Cal Naismith. Cal Naismith's the one in defence. He needs to be saying, no, launch it. We're sitting on a 2-1 lead against the team above us in the table. Get it upfield. I don't fanny about with it at the back. Right, sorry, I'm getting myself worked up now. Super Mickey Chow. Naismith has been a liability all season. Correct, he has. Should play anyone and everyone else before he's picked for the squad again, and that includes the under-21 players we have. Yep, absolutely agree. Phil H, LTFC. Plays Naismith, leaves a Dauphin on the bench. Yep, correct. A Dauphin should have been on instead of Naismith. To be honest, I don't want to see Naismith playing for Luton Town again. He's broken. He is an absolute broken person right now, and I don't feel there's any way that he can come back from that absolute shit performance. That sort of encapsulates where he is at. The performances have been going down, down, down. Honestly, terrible. Ben, Luton Town, we played brilliant. 3 mistakes cost us. If Naismith plays on Tuesday, I bet he'll kick that ball up the field every chance he gets. Yeah, I've already talked about how it looked brilliant on the surface of it. I don't think we actually did play brilliant. It's all aesthetics, really. It's like buying a car with a body kit, but you've actually got like a really shit engine. Yeah, because we don't actually create clear-cut chances. Miss Dazaster, I applauded the players who were decent as they approached the stands. Funnily enough, Cal didn't come up to the Kenny end on full time. No, of course he didn't. And there was no huddle today. I don't know if anyone noticed that. No huddle. Stevie Kilgore. From the conversations I've had today and from the interviews, it all feels very end of season. And if we have 3 unimportant games left, it feels like surrender. It feels flat. It is done. Correct. Drunk Techno. Loyal Luton confirmed themselves as the propaganda wing of 2020. No, I don't think so. But as I said, it was very job interview-esque in the sense that it just the players, they're media trained, they know what they had to say, and they said it. But you know, on a job interview, you can lie, you can bend the truth, and yeah, it's all a load of old nonsense. While we're on the subject of Loyal Luton, I want to send out my thoughts to Arch, who's on the board of Loyal Luton. Arch, I hope you get better, mate. Keep fighting a good fight. And yeah, take care, mate. Hitesh Patel, where is the meeting with the board? Don't know, mate. Don't know. I'm just gonna scroll down a bit. Mr. Dazda, Clicker will join NJ to begin his coaching badges as a part-time player. Yeah, and I think that's a good career move for Clicker. Why not? Why wouldn't he? He's not going to stay here. It's a sinking ship. Peter Armitage, strap yourself in tomorrow night, Ollie. Poor substitutions cost us today. Jack ditch the casual half zip and start dressing like a manager, rolling his sleeves up for a fight. Yeah, fair play. We'll see you tomorrow. Pete A on the phone in. Reminder, we got the phone in Sunday night, 9 p.m. Myself and Ryman. It'll be good to have you all along. Super Mickey Chow, good luck to him. He's been a brilliant servant, given his all. We're still talking about Clicker here. He deserves better than he's getting here. Yeah. Right. So Miss Dazda says no Walsh, no Clark, no hope. So yeah, the subs today were an interesting one. Like, I felt Walsh and Wells, they did impact the game pretty much immediately as they came on. Naki Wells ran into an alley, and then Casey Palmer, who was tremendous, he slipped him back in and then he ran and had a shot that sort of just, it took a deflection and went just over. And that was pretty much Nahki Wells' entire contribution to the final 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the game. Then from a corner, ball fell to Liam Walsh. Liam Walsh had a go. It went over. I honestly don't know what Jack Wilshere was thinking about with those substitutions, because none of the subs made any change. Bramall, okay, bring him on. He's literally come back from injury. I don't know how he was expecting Bramall to affect the game. Bring on Shaden Morris with literally 3 minutes to go. That was a bit pointless. Kajua was really ineffective as well. But Walsh and Wells, no. Taking off Cole and Lawrence. No, it wasn't Cole and Lawrence. Cole and Richards for them. Weird. Like, you've just essentially declared and removed all your attacking threat. Cole, I thought, I'm not going to say he was disappointing today, but as a physical player, I felt he didn't win any of his physical battles. I think maybe he won once. It was disappointing. Stevie, Matey got 4 in that game. Yes, that's the thing. It's us and always making Reading look really good. Like, we made them look really good last game as well. They beat us 3-2 already this season down there, Gaff. Luton Town fans, there's no Band-Aid if we lose the final, though. No, of course not. Yeah. Getting to Wembley is the Band-Aid, but there's still a chance the Band-Aid might come popping off due to the water pressure. He also says, everyone travelling to Wembley and then us losing will bring everything into sharp focus. Nowhere for Jack Wilshere and Gary Sweet to hide after that. Yeah, well, look, if you guys enjoyed my interview with Gary Sweet, let's lobby to get me in to ask him some even more hard-hitting questions. I really enjoyed it. And this time, I'll make sure that I record it properly. Here's the genuine question. Has Cole had a shot since joining? Not off the top of my head. No, he hasn't. Right. But yeah, that's me feeling pretty flat, pretty numb. People say it's a good performance. I just think it's aesthetics. I think it's sugarcoating. I think it's a cherry on top of a turd. I don't think it was as good as people are making out, because ultimately it's all huff no puff. We're not actually carving teams apart. Like, for instance, that play from a couple of weeks back against Burton, where Joe Johnson played that ball through the middle to Nahki Wells and forced him to run onto it. That was a tremendous bit of play. The direct play. None of this ticky-tacky, sideways, backwards, sideways, and then eventually pass it forward. Direct play, cutting the team, cutting the opposition apart. Why can't we do more of that? It works so well. So, lo and behold, naturally, we don't do it again. And one thing I noticed as well, when we have a throw-in, we whoever wins the throw-in, instead of just picking the ball up and just getting the play restarted really quickly, they move the ball and they wait for like whoever is playing left back or right back to come and take the ball and take the throw-in. Reading today, they caused us problems because whenever they got the ball, whoever won the throw-in immediately threw it to someone before we could reset into position. When you're letting your right back or your left back take the throw-ins, you're letting everyone get back into position. And one thing Reading did very well today, they defended their box incredibly well because we let them. We let them. Essentially, this beautiful aesthetic passing that we're doing, all these lovely chops from Jordan Clark, Casey Palmer, they're all happening in front of the opposition. We're not penetrating the opposition. We're not cutting them through like this Joe Johnson pass I talked about to Nahki Wells. You do it once, it works. Okay, job's a good one. Let's never do it again. We're incredibly predictable. Right, here we go. as soon as Palmer went off, we reverted back to the sideways/backwards passing with no urgency. Yeah, Palmer was absolutely tremendous today. He really was. I heard Palmer was subbed because he played too many forward passes under the quote for sideways, backways balls. Yeah. It's just annoying. It's really, really annoying. I'm fed up. Season's over. I mean, I've been saying it for ages, but to be honest, the season was over as soon as we failed to get maximum points from Wigan, Burton and Port Vale. Like 2 points from those 3 games. Pathetic. You don't deserve anything. And essentially, we were always going to hit the inflection point where the home form couldn't continue. This was our first loss in 12 games at home. Yeah, it wasn't sustainable. It was not sustainable. And playoff pushes and promotion battles are pretty much dictated by being good, avoiding loss away from home, and winning and drawing, well, avoiding losses at home. You can't be completely reliant on your home form to get you promoted or even get you into the playoffs. It was always going to come to a head. And that is what's happened. Cheers. Season's over. Job's a good one. Blood the youth. Here we go. Everyone, remember, check out the playlist for the Content Creator Day. That is on the channel. Check it out. There's interviews with Gary Sweet, Jack Wilshere, Chris Powell, David Bridges and Tim Corcoran. Get to know them before they're all sacked. Well, they're not going anywhere, are they? Nah, no chance. Also, post-match phone-in is going to be happening. Our weekly phone-in is happening tomorrow, 9 p.m, Sunday night. See you all there. Have a good evening and a weekend, and try not to let the football get you down. As always, come on, you Hatters.